What's going on, guys? Today in this video I'm going to be removing the engine from my 2004 Ford Mustang GT. That's not the GT, that's the Mach 1. But here's a little bit of a preview. This is a 2-valve 4.6 that came out of the GT. That Mustang has a 4-valve 4.6. So this is a little bit of a preview from what I'm going to be doing in this video. So this engine came out of my 04 Mustang GT. Alright guys, I'm going to be getting started on removing this engine. So I have to take out everything, including the intake. I gotta take all these hoses out, the radiator reservoir or the coolant reservoir, power steering, all the wires. I gotta take the upper and lower intake manifold off, throttle body, coils, fuel rails, wiring harnesses, all that good stuff, and any accessory that's gonna be in my way. So the first thing I wanna take off to give me a little bit of working room here is this dbaKen cold air intake. So I have a few things loosened up here. So the mass airflow is already loosened up here. These clamps up here are loosened. Oh, it's a dbaKen air filter. Okay, never had a dbaKen air filter. It's really filthy. It'll probably clean up, so I'll probably keep it. And that just lifts up, so that's pretty cool. Super easy to take off and install. So let's move on to something else. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take off this belt here. So super easy to take off. You just gotta loosen up the belt tensioner. Do it this way. I'll push it this way, lift it off the alternator. Now it's completely loosened, so now I can just pretty much pull it off. Whoa, my freaking package fell. That scared me. Anyway, let's get this belt all the way off. This belt is also super easy to take off and super easy to install. All I used was a 3/8 drive. You can use any kind of 3/8 drive, so that's what I use. And now the belt is off and it's going straight to the trash can because I don't reuse belts. So they're cheap enough to replace. I don't know how old it is. I don't really care. It looks old. While I'm here, I might as well remove these few hoses that are in my way right here. So, whoops. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. I won't throw this away. It looks like it's in okay condition. I will keep it. Nope. Nope, never mind. It looks like it's okay, so I'll probably keep that. I will replace it if I ever reuse this engine, but I gotta know where it came from to replace it. Remove this hose, or at least disconnect it. That goes to the valve cover. It's a breather. I'll throw that one over there. All right, let's remove some connectors here. There's a few connectors going to the throttle body. 1, 2, TPS sensor. Alright guys, all of the coils and fuel injector connectors, those are all unhooked. So that's pretty good. Let's see if we can remove this. I'm gonna go ahead and take this alternator connector off. It looks like it's a little 10mm. I use metric, so I'm going by metric sizes. Looks like a 10mm. I'll just disconnect the wire from it and I'll put that nut back on it so I don't lose that nut. Whatever that is, probably a ground of some sort. But there's one on each side, so I'll have to take out the other side as well. I'm just gonna tighten this bolt back, that way I don't lose it. Go ahead and get this other side. Owie, owie, ow! If I ever reuse this wiring harness, it sure is gonna need a bath and some degreaser. It is filthy. I like how these wires are mounted to the valve covers. It's pretty cool. I got this new Ryobi impact, so never had an impact before other than that little thing. That's more of an impact driver. But I'm gonna get this alternator off. Just get these bolts nice and loose. I'm on the lowest power setting to save some battery here. Looks like there's 2 more bolts down there, a connector. So 1 bolt right there, 1 bolt right there. Oh, 3 bolts? Nope, just 2 bolts. So I'm gonna work on getting this alternator off. It looks like it's just 6 bolts total. So I will do this off camera real quick and I will show you guys what it looks like when I'm done. All right, I believe I got the alternator out. I just unclipped the connector here. There we go. I doubt it's OEM, but we'll keep it around just in case we ever need one, or I can sell it or trash it. I don't know if it's OEM or not. I'll have to look into that. I really don't care though. It looks like there's a LKQ marking on it, so it might be used. So feels okay though. The bearing's good. All right, let's move on. Let me put these bolts back where they go. That way I don't ever lose them. So this bracket here. Okay, so I'm gonna put these bolts back where they go so I don't lose them. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and take the coils out. I used a 7mm socket to remove the bolts, so I already went ahead and did that. So I'm just gonna pull all these out. Oh, we lost one. Go ahead and set these down. Set them down, organize them later. Are these factory? They look factory. Okay, that's good. Motorcraft does have some pretty good OEM parts, so. Ooh, that one broke. No worries though, I'll plug it right back up. Good as new. All right, let's do the passenger side here. Fuel rail's a bit in the way. Thank God they are flexible. This last one's a bit of a pain, but we'll get it. That heater hose in the line, or in the way. Ah, that did it too. Daggone it. Alright guys, I took my throttle body bolts out. It was 5 bolts. I disconnected the EGR valve. I do need to separate it a little bit. And then the throttle cable I disconnected. So I should be able to take the throttle body off now and the EGR. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I got all the bolts out. It should just pop right out. There is a hose on the back of the throttle body. I just replaced it or took it off. And then the cruise control, it looks like. So that just pops off as well. So that's taken off now. I'm gonna set it aside. So now I'm gonna work on getting this upper intake manifold taken off. Then I'll take the lower intake manifold off, and I gotta get rid of all this wiring. So I'm gonna unhook it everywhere else that it may be hooked up to. I think I disconnected most of it, so that shouldn't be too difficult. And this fuel rail should come off with this upper intake manifold, it appears. So it looks like there's a few brackets I gotta remove too. So I'm gonna get working on this, and I'll keep you guys updated. All right guys, I'm gonna drain my radiator here and get rid of all the coolant in the system, or most of it. There's gonna be some left over in the hoses, and it's gonna splatter everywhere when I take them off, but this is gonna get most of it. There's a petcock / drain plug right here. It's a 19mm. So I'm just gonna do that. It'll start coming out slowly. You would think. There it goes. You gotta really open the whole thing up. There we go. Whoa! Whoa! That'll be good. I'm gonna let that drain out completely. Then I can take all the hoses off on the top, take the thermostat hose off, and I can make a little progress on getting those hoses out. So I'm gonna let this drain out. Alright, it's slowed down draining, so I'm just gonna go ahead and squeeze some hoses here, try to get as much fluid as possible out, as much coolant out. pop up a little bit right there. I forgot to take that off. Yeah, now it's flowing. Alright, I'm gonna keep letting this drain out. And then I can be able to take off these hoses, hose down here, hose back there, the heater hoses. So that's gonna be some good progress once I can get those taken off. That leaves me a little bit more room to work. Alright guys, I'm gonna take these hoses off. I already got them loose. This one is loose down here. These heater hoses are loose. So that's pretty much it with those hoses. Let me get the light on you. There we go. So loose here, I'm gonna loosen it here too, that way I can take the intake manifold off. And then it was this hose right here that I just took off, and then this hose down yonder. So that's where I'm at now. I'm about ready to start taking this upper intake manifold off. I did get this EGR valve disconnected from the header. It did kind of break down here. It was loosening, but it ended up snapping. You know, I have another one off the parts car, so it's not a big deal. But I'm about ready to take this upper intake manifold off. Alright guys, I got all the upper intake manifold bolts out, so I pretty much am ready to take off this upper intake manifold. It should come right off. Whoa buddy, oh man, I lost my grommet. What am I stuck on now? There we go. I have a few more connectors. I think there's one on the AC compressor. I gotta get the one off the fuse box. There is a bolt holding those lines on. Other than that, guys, I'm about done with the wiring harness. I'm gonna hopefully fold it up over onto the windshield. So tomorrow I probably will take off this hood. I need it out of the way to remove the engine. So I'll end up doing that tomorrow, but this is some good progress. I might get under the car and go ahead and unclip the connector at the AC compressor, and I need to get off this nut on the fuse box, but it's pretty tight and I heard a little bit of tension on that plastic, and like I said last video, Ford plastic sucks, so I don't want to break that fuse box because the one in the Mach 1 is busted and I would really like a nice fuse box, so I'm going to be real careful trying to get that out. A few little more odds and ends in the motor mounts and I'll be ready to take this engine out. So I'm getting pretty dang close here. And I will have to drop the car back on the ground. I need to make sure I get everything undone before I do that. So that's where I'm at now, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and work on getting this busted pressure plate and clutch off. So I'm gonna work on getting this done. I got my impact right here, so it shouldn't be too hard. It looks like it's gonna take a 13mm socket, so hopefully nothing prevents me from getting this thing taken off. So that's what I'm gonna do now, and I will time lapse you guys, so it won't be too long for you guys, but it'll be a little bit longer for me. Oh man, did y'all see that? Daggone, man. That thing got sent a little too hard. That thing got sent way too hard. Oh my goodness. Well, that's pretty nuts. Alright guys, I got the clutch and pressure plate taken off, so that is seriously some messed up clutch. Look at that. Someone sent it a little too hard, I would say, so that's fun. I went ahead and got the flywheel bolts loose. I did a little test for this new Ryobi on Snapchat, so oh, there it goes. There's a little stuck on there, so I got the mallet out to give it a few love taps. I wonder how heavy it is. That'll be alright. I'll be alright. leave one in there. That way I can get a hand on it. Ugh, my shoulder. My shoulder is bothering me today. See, I got my hand on it here. I'm gonna take it off by hand. That way nothing falls on me. It's pretty heavy, I can tell. Definitely steel. There we go. All right. Pretty cool. I wonder if they replaced that rear main seal while they were in there. Doesn't look bad at all, so I bet they did. That is a 6-bolt crank. Okay. About right. That's what GTs are. I don't know why I was counting them. I'm gonna put all these bolts back, that way I don't lose them, and I'll be almost done underneath here. I do need to go and loosen the 22mm engine mount bolts. So I do need to do that. I need to remove the power steering pump. I need to unclip the air compressor. A few little small odds and ends, and I'm gonna be about ready to drop this car and take the engine out. Sweet! It is time to remove this hood because I need the hood to be taken off the car. That way I can remove the engine upwards. So it's 4 10mm bolts. So I've done this before just by myself. So I put blankets under each side. That way if it somehow falls, it'll kind of not scratch anything or damage anything. So I got the blankets under there. So now I need to take the bolts out, and I'm just going to try to grab it as wide as possible. I'm going to set it... This side's damaged, so I'll just probably set it on the side of the car out of our way. And then I have pretty much the wiring ready to come out too. So I'm gonna fold the wiring on top of the windshield. And then I have a few little odds and ends to take out, like the power steering line, the air compressor line. That's about it. There's not much left. Oh yeah, the motor mounts. So I got this side loose. I need to get the other side loose. I'll show you those and how to get to those, but I'm gonna get this hood off right now. Okay, I got that 8mm off. Now I should be able to remove the hood. You can see the damage right there. Yeah, I mean, somebody might could fix it. I'm not going to though, I don't need it. Now this wiring should be about ready. Let's see if I get snagged on anything. Set it out of our way. That's a lot of connectors, man. That's gonna be hard to keep up with. Woo! All right. Remember those odds and ends that I was talking about? Yeah, I just did a lot of them. A power steering line, a bunch of wiring, connectors, clips, bolts, and nuts from under the car. Anyway, I just got a bunch of coolant spilled on me, and I just got done cleaning that up. Anyway, I need to take off this power steering reservoir bracket. I might leave the bracket and just take off the reservoir. I think I can do that, so. Whoa. Whoa, that was quick. Go ahead and leak on all the stuff I just cleaned up. That's cool. I'll set this aside. Get it out of our way. I gotta get this bracket. It goes from the block over here to this wiring harness. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. That's one of the last brackets I have to remove. And then this bracket for the AC line. We're getting pretty close, guys. These last odds and ends are killing me. Absolutely killing me. I had to cut the dang power steering line because I couldn't get the nut out, so I'll have to replace that. I got my load leveler attached. I used 2 flywheel bolts in the back where the transmission bolts went, because the transmission bolts, the threads on them only go halfway. So I was able to use flywheel bolts in the back, and they're tightened all the way, very solid. And then up here, that's where I have the front chain. So they're nice and tight. There should be no problems. So I'm gonna get the jack stands out from underneath the car, and I'm gonna start lowering this car back to the ground, and then we'll start pulling this engine. I had to put some 2x4s under the wheel to allow the cherry picker to actually fit under the car. It's about time to take this engine out of the car, so I need to get the load leveler adjusted a little bit, and hopefully everything goes pretty smooth and this thing comes right out, but we're gonna find out. So let me get this all adjusted, and then I'll be pulling the engine real soon. All right, I got everything attached. I got a little bit more adjusting to do, but I'm gonna start pulling this engine up, and hopefully everything goes pretty smooth. But I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse, and hopefully y'all don't see anything crazy happen, like anything fall over or fall or break or snap or get crushed or anything like that. So let's get to it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I might end up crushing the radiator fan. I should have took it out, but I'm upgrading all that. Plus I have the brand new one in the Mach 1 that the previous owner just installed. So if I crush this one, oh well, I crushed a 146,000 Mustang radiator fan. I should have took it out, but I will learn when I do the Mach 1. I'll go ahead and take all that stuff out next time. So this is a good learning lesson for when I take the Mach 1 engine out. But this thing might end up breaking, but it's okay. I have a brand new one on the Mach 1. Well, there it is, guys. The engine and transmission are 100% out of this 2004 Mustang GT. That thing's leaking a little bit of coolant that was left, so that's what that sound is. But the engine's out, so I can pretty much, let's see, what are my next steps? I haven't planned this far. I'm probably gonna take this car, push it outside. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably bring the Mach 1 over to here and do the same thing I just did to this car, which is take the engine and transmission out. And then when those are out, both cars will be pushed outside, and then I can start prepping this car for engine bay paint. So I'll take everything out, prep it for paint, paint it, and then I can start dropping the engine and transmission and wiring. So that's probably the next steps, guys. Exciting stuff. Alright guys, before I close this video out, I need to get this car out of the garage, so I'm going to try to push it back as far as possible. I might have to end up getting my tractor and pulling it somewhere else out of the way, but I really do need to get this car out of the garage. I have something else I need to work on real quick, and then we'll be pulling in the Mach 1, and we'll be doing the same thing that we did to this GT, engine and transmission removal, and then we'll be getting seriously into this build, and it's going to be really fun. So let me get this car out of the garage. I'm gonna have to get my tractor and push this thing back a little bit and then pull it away. It's just too heavy. Even with the engine and transmission gone, it's still super heavy. I cannot push it by myself, especially on this gravel. But I'm gonna get my tractor and I'm gonna get this thing moved out of my way. The next video on the Mustang will be me tearing down this car right here, this 2004 Ford Mustang Mach 1. So that is the next video that I'm going to be bringing on this Mustang. I don't know if I'll have a filler video from then and now, but that's the next video that's going to happen on the Mustang build. So we'll be tearing this car down very soon. But anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on post notifications so you get a notification every time I upload a video. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.